Yeah, good morning. Uh, it's good to see you today. It's a good start for a new day. Um, I've been busy since early this morning and had quite a few things that I had to take care of. Um, that always sets my mood for getting things done. Um, Things I don't rush to do, but I try to work around my schedule and I'm trying to manage myself better. I'm trying to manage my time a little better. When I have things that's on my mind that I need to do, the quicker most of the times that I do them, the better it seems to take my day, or at least in that direction. And having done that, a few things came to my mind this morning. My mind is always racing. Not necessarily racing, but I don't know. I'm like aware of a lot of things, and I guess I'm not trying to over analyze myself, but I do realize I'm a thinker because I think that's what I do. It takes time and it takes training. It takes focus. It takes dedication. It takes making up your mind to do something. When you have in your mind to do something and you don't do it or don't get it done, it just seems like it moves up. It moves in the back of other things that need to be done, and before you know it, sometimes you do. I do, and I have in the past, find myself, like just stuck in the space where there's so much to do and I'm not doing anything. So I'm trying to learn how to manage my time a little better. Um, I know the discipline in the long run is the right way, because then I get things done, and I don't just keep regurgitating the same thoughts. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to. After a while, you get tired of piling stuff up and start getting things done, and then I don't know. I think I like having my mind somewhat clear when I have main things, certainly that's very important, that I need to do. I like to jump on them early. I'm a morning person now. Back in the day, sure boy, I used to wake up with a headache, not in the mood, excuse me, in bed, you know, I call it bad space because I didn't like that. I like what I do now. Like I said, I get up early in the morning. That's who I've become now. Um, I put some things away in terms of the things I used to do that don't give me the best start for the next day. It's almost like hanging out when you know you got to work tomorrow. I mean, you could do it. Uh, you know, some of you guys, you're younger, excuse me, and you have that energy. I find the older that I get, the less complicated I make things, because sometimes it's not always that complicated. Sometimes it just takes an action move. It takes me to make up my mind that I got to do this today, I got to do that today. And then the next day I wake up, it's one less thing that I have to do. So I go back to my point. Excuse me. First of all, my name is Melvin Jackson. Excuse my manners for newcomers. Um, I'm your brother. I'm your anchor. I'm your messenger. I like to be all of those things to who would allow me to become that. I probably have to qualify to do that, and it would stand to reason. One of the topics today is remembering my common sense. We use the word common, it should be something that's easy to obtain. It should be something that's easy to focus on. Um, a lot of times when I find within myself, and this should probably fall under the heading of being in control of yourself, knowing when to say yes, knowing when to say no, um, and mean it. Um, and it's that discipline sometimes that allow me um, some of the freedoms that I can do anything I want to do at any given time. But me understanding of what it means in terms of, well, for one thing, taking care of my business, and the other thing is I could be at peace with myself. I like that, like I said, I like that ways. I like those ways, excuse me, about myself when I do those things. So I'm adjusting to um, doing what I need to do when I need to do it. Knowing that things have a place and a time, and I need to sometimes remember that, and to structure myself the best I can towards that for the better outcome. Sometimes being conscious of some things opposed to not, it showed me the difference um, in teaching and changing my own ways about how I used to do things in the past, to comparing it to how I do things now. Is much better the way that I'm doing things now, for the obvious reasons. Sometimes this is a part of growth as well. Um, when I mentioned earlier about some simple things, when I see things about myself, I know how I could be turned around, if you will. I have in mind to do one thing, and I don't, not only not do that, I end up doing something else. Um, I'm learning how to stick to what I gotta do. And that could cover a lot of things. I gotta get up and go to work. I gotta put this day's work in. How much energy I need to do, have rather, when I go to do what I need to do. To, to, to make those things easier for me, it makes my day easier. Again, being structured and disciplined sometimes call on some hard decisions, because when I have a freedom not to do what I know I need to do, then who suffers? Then I suffer. I don't get what I had in mind to get done, and I feel like I'm not ready to take on what's the next what's the next thing of urgency that I need to do. It sounds simple, but once again, the discipline that it calls for sometimes, you either do it or you don't do it. If you don't start to change and structure some things, you find that I find that I didn't get them things done. I look at the little things that interfere with my day, and not as such, but things come into play where I could stick to the plan, if you will, or I could alter the plan, or I could not do it at all. When I can start focusing to do things and I get them done, it encourages me to do what I need to do. Not necessarily always trying to entertain myself. You know, we got phrases like, and this caught on. Don't ask me what about it caught on, but it caught on. One friend called another. He say, "Hey, what's up? What you doing?" And he said, "I'm just chilling." Well, we understand what that means in terms of the meaning of the word chilling, but it implies I'm not doing anything. I'm just taking it easy. But then you wonder, okay, so how much of that can you do before you just fall into a slump of not doing nothing? Creativity suffers. Momentum suffers. When I used to follow that kind of thinking, I wasn't encouraged to go after hard things that I needed to do, let alone to do the easy things. Because the easier thing would be, at least I thought, to sit there and do nothing. Yeah, I'm chilling. Yeah, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Somebody asks, what are you doing? I'm doing nothing. well, how much of that can I do before I start getting bored with doing nothing? And then when I start getting complacent as such, I find myself or my mind wondering, oh, you know what we could do that. All of the, for me, all of the things that I start bringing up, if you will, to do, um, I've done them over and over and over and walked away from them, not only not feeling complete about them, but not getting anything done. It's not a good feeling. It's becoming lazy, and in this life, you know, it's not a good thing to become lazy, because then, like I said, for the obvious reasons, um, maybe sometimes to start tapping into your psyche, and you start probably, and I have in the past, withdrawn, and before you know it, sometimes reality gets in the way of that, and and then I just look for escape ways. I don't I don't hit the hammer or hit the nail on the head. I don't do anything. It can't be fulfilling for one that is a creator, for one that's a manager, for one that want things in life and want to do things in life. And the only way that you're able to do those things is to get up and do them, because nobody really knows what you feel inside, and 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 what means something to you and what don't. I think the fairness of the discipline is that I try to do some of the things that I really don't want to do, but I know I have to do. And once again, the reward for that kind of thinking, it shows me that I could do what I need to do. As we get older, we call that being responsible. I gotta go to work. I gotta drop my daughter off to the babysitter. I gotta help my wife. I gotta help my girlfriend. I gotta help my mother. I gotta do this for my father. You know, and then in all of those outside things, I gotta do things for myself. And if I don't take the time to do that, sometimes I can get lost in that. And I can get disenchanted, and I could get like I'm not feeding myself, and then I'm just chilling. I'm not doing anything. I'm not getting anything accomplished, and I'm not getting any closer to the things that I really want in life. It's so much. I believe that it's so much easier when you're young to try to put those things in order to the best you can. I think sometimes the sooner you do those things, the more you could look forward to the things that you want to look forward to the future. It's a good practice. You can't lose, you know, by trying to not necessarily um, think your day out, if you will, um, but you know, to be productive, to do something. We're people that do things. We're not the ones that lay around it, because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't encourage us, let alone for self-improvement. That's a whole nother story. But I'm saying sometimes when we get wind that we look around us, and this one's doing that and this one's accomplishing that, and people are pushing and people are grinding, and they doing whatever need to be done. They're not looking for excuses of not doing what need to be done. Sometimes I had in the past bad habits of falling into that sort of way of doing things or living, and I needed to change it, and I needed to make adjustments in myself. And when I started making adjustments, quite naturally, I started seeing improvement. I started seeing things getting done. I don't want to just sit there and dream all day. Dreaming has its time and its place, and it has to fit in the realm of the reality. You know, when we're younger, whether you're a female or a man, um, you have things in life that you want to go out and get, and you want to be encouraged to get, and you hear certain laws that are in effect to doing those things, but we don't always follow those methods. Sometimes we get caught and trapped in a situation, wondering sometimes how we got there. Truth be told, we got there because we decided to be there, or we decided to put ourselves there. And then when we catch wind of ourselves, those are the times that we need to get that forward momentum to change that. You know, nobody have to sit in, pardon my expression, our you know what. In fact, we don't. Sometimes we have a thing that we call a pity party. When things didn't work out, I sit there now and I'm withdrawing. I don't want to do nothing because I can't have what I want. I can have what I want, but not like the way I'm doing it. And like I said again, that reopens areas to say, man, you know, when you're around people that's encouraged to do things, man, you hear it. There's a sense of envy. It's a sense of jealousy. I think that's human. It's nothing wrong with that. Probably if you didn't feel that, something is probably even more wrong. Because when you see people accomplishing, and when I say people, I mean your peers, your friends, your associates, the people that you run with, if you will. You know, when you're around people getting things done, they know there's a time to chill, and then there's a time to grind, and there's a time to get busy, and there's a time to get results. And you will get results if you put those two and two together. Long time ago, I had a pretty nice job in the early days of my apprentice when I became a carpenter. I had a situation and I didn't handle it right on the job, and I lost the job, and I went right back to where I was, so to speak. Found myself sitting on the bench in the project, doing nothing with a bunch of people that had no aspirations or need to do anything, and they just sit there and just waste the day. Something come along, sound like it was interesting, and usually, most of the time, moments like that meant trouble to me because I want to do something. I know in my heart what I need to do, but I don't want to do that hard thing. So I go and I'll do something that don't make sense. Sometimes when I've done those things, not only did it not help me, but it set me further back, like getting into trouble. If your mind was occupied in doing some things that you really need to be doing, chances are those things wouldn't happen. But you're sitting there and you're not willing to get up to do what you need to do. Every person's life, I believe, have whatever it is. We're similar, and our situations are similar. It's not always the same. Like I said, some people get fed up with just sitting there and get up and do something and make something happen. Because like what we used to say, opportunity don't always just come knocking at your door. Sometimes you gotta go knock at opportunity's door and be willing and ready to do whatever it takes, because the gain that you're gonna get from that sacrifice is much more than you would had you not did anything which you had gotten. A good example, and I sit there and I say to myself, man, let me go look for some work, man. I need money in my pocket. I need things that I need to do, and I don't want to keep getting into trouble. So let me go find a job, and I go to different interviews and then thinking back naturally, some of the things that. Here's a good example. One time I was looking for a job and I couldn't find it. I sat there and I thought of a strategy of how I could go about doing this. I started at Lower Manhattan. I was way down there, First Street, if you will, Second Street, Third Street. We know New York, go all the way up to 145th Street to 149th Street, where some of the areas where I used to roll or grew up at, if you pardon my expression. So my idea was to start at the lowest street and every day at least cover 2 blocks. What that meant for me was Whatever was on the right side, whatever was on the left side, I would go into all of those stores and inquire of work. And then the next day, I would do the next one. Sometime I would run into certain information. Oh, I hear that they're hiring over there. I would, hear different rumors of certain things. Sometimes there were job openings. Sometimes I would fill out an application. Didn't really want the job, but something was better than nothing. And then the next day I would do the same thing. By the end of the week, and I kid you not, Manhattan blocks. I'd say maybe the average for each block, I'll say this. The average for each block, I would run into at least 2 opportunities. And if I didn't run into 2 opportunities, I ran into 2 leads. Listen to what I'm saying now. This was my strategy. Nobody told me this. I thought this on my own. I did this because my money I didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't go every place all at one time. So I would do that. I covered probably the first 6 blocks. I had put in 2 applications. I had found out other things that was going on in terms of me having a chance to find employment there. And then the weekend come, and I felt better about relaxing because businesses are closed. Some are open, but on the weekends I didn't job hunt. Monday rolled back around, and I would do that strategy. I'd say to you that I did that strategy about 3 weeks before I ran into an instant opportunity. It wasn't no long career job. It was a job at a supermarket, and they paid X amount of money, and so on, so on, so on, so. And so my point in saying that is, when you get up and moving, you open up the opportunities for things to happen. You gotta. When you get hungry, your appetite is different than when you're not. When you are hungry, it's different. I hope you understand what I mean, because there's a sense of urgency with that. When you get to a certain age, man, and I think most of my audience know that, at least this much, that you gotta get out there, man, and you gotta see things, you gotta do things. I got onto one job. Before I knew it, I knew people in that area. I knew jobs that was available in that area. It opens up a whole level of opportunities. I could have just sat there all day long with the same company in the project, in the bench, sitting on the bench doing absolutely nothing. Like I said, my brother used to say, boy, if you're not working, you're stealing. Because you got needs, and how are you meeting those needs? Whether I sit there and wait for my mother to come home and then get angry when she can only give me $10 opposed to $20 that I was hoping for. I mean, what was wrong with me that I couldn't get up and get for myself? Sometimes we have to be put into our opportunity that, not an opportunity, but I have put myself in that position long enough to know that wasn't working. It wasn't working. It shouldn't be working, because at a certain point, I shouldn't be dependent on people to do for me what I could get up and do for myself. So I jump along in the story, and I've got jobs that way. It's not just jobs, but this is what I'm speaking to. Is really more so opportunities, because you never know what you run into. You go looking for one thing, and sometimes you find something else. The point is that you're going looking for something. You're not sitting there for it to find you. You're going where there's an opportunity that you may run into something. Okay, I jumped that to say this. Before I started my apprentice, and I lost a good job, like I said, one day I found myself all the way up to 54th Street, and I started going to these big hotels and these big businesses. And one day I got up. If I'm not mistaken, it was on a Friday, and I said to myself, this is Friday. It's not really all that much going on. Let me chill out today, and I'll go Monday. And I remember it was raining, and I needed, and that's all the excuse that I needed at the time, not to do what I had been doing. I don't know what it was about that day, but I could remember this. I went anyway. I think I made a deal with myself and said, I'll do half a day, do something, but let's go half a day and look around. And then we could feel confident when somebody or my mother asks me, hey, how you make out today? I don't have to feel like I'm lying to her. Oh yeah, I'm listening for this, and oh yeah, I went there, and knowing that I didn't do those things. But let's just see life for a minute. I I was somewhere around 50th Street or something like that. Somehow, maybe the third or second opportunity, because it was raining out. I don't know if I had an umbrella. I might have. And somehow I found myself at the Hilton Hotel. Somebody, I can't recall nobody telling me that they had openings at those different hotels. But I was asking back and forth. I left, it wasn't, I was so past my shame, because you know what? The shame won't feed me. My shame don't clothe me. My shame don't make me feel good about myself. In fact, it makes me feel bad about myself. That's why it's called shame. Anyway, make a long story short, I went in there, and this white lady took care of me, and she asked me, could she help me? She was a receptionist, and I explained to her that I was looking for work, and I was interested in work, and I was trying to see if they had any work opportunities at that time. She looked at me and she said, well, do you have any experience with maintenance? Because they have openings in maintenance. I said, I have a little, which I really didn't have much, but I didn't want to say no to myself. I didn't want to overlie, but I didn't want to underlie. I needed help, and I needed it bad. She looked at me and she said, well, we have an opening, and one of the positions is for entry level, and you really don't need experience, but do you think you would be interested in something like that? And I said, yes, I would. So she said, okay, have a seat over there. Give me a few minutes and I'll get back to you. Shortly, she made her phone calls or did whatever she had to do to that department. And they must have said, yeah, we still have an opening. Okay, well, I have a gentleman here by the name of Melvin Jackson. I'm going to send him upstairs. And so I went to the interview and I sold myself, man. I seen an opportunity. I didn't over exaggerate to the point where, I just said anything, because I didn't. But at the back of everything that I said, that I learned fast, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to learn. Two things happened with that moment. My thinking said, God put you in the right place at the right time for the right help, and everything else is history. Of course, I didn't know that at that time, but I was willing. I went to the interview. They said, okay, we got an apprenticeship for carpentry. They're gonna teach you, and let's see how it goes. Okay, I filled out the paperwork and put my W-2 form in and my Social Security, everything. And they said, okay, so Monday morning when you come, you're going to start Monday. They're going to take you down. They're going to give you your uniforms. They're going to explain your benefits. They're going to explain. Can I stop there for a second? Something came from what I didn't think would come. But just because I tried, it happened. Now, that sometimes sounds simple, and I certainly don't want to take credit from God, because nothing happens without my thinking. Nothing happens without the will of God. Whether God make the situation favorable to you or make you favorable to the situation, it happened. I left there, I was on a high, if you pardon my expression. I was on a high. I sat on that train and I took that train Midtown all the way back uptown to where I live. And I thought, and I thought, and I thought. And I was excited. I couldn't wait till Monday. I hadn't had that feeling in such a long time to be excited for Monday to come. Usually in my past, I'd be ducking Monday. Monday's a hard day. No, I was looking forward to this. So it was a beginning. I had no idea where God was taking me with carpentry, but it was a beginning. And it was a beginning because I think I gave an honest effort. I gave her honor. And again, I don't want to make much about myself, except that I think we all have that in us. When we make up our mind, nothing can stop us. We just do. We become a doer. And sometimes that's the difference, man. That's the difference. When you become a doer, you're not satisfied with anything. You challenge yourself, man. You go out there, and things, like I said, things happen as a result of that. So sometimes we got buttons in ourselves, man, that we stand to push, man, and be encouraged of things. Sometimes we're at a low. I got that. I've been at the low. We don't stay there. You remember the old saying about a pity pot? They said a pity pot is there for you to pity yourself for how long it take. But once you finish pitying yourself, you'll get up and you fix it and you do something about it. And pity doesn't sit there anymore. You know the one that say excuses don't live here anymore. We run out of excuses. We gotta challenge ourselves. We're creative, man. We're doers, man. And then we got a God behind us that know our heart, know what we need. Sometimes the good thing is to do without, because that encourages you to go and get what you need. Instead of sitting there chilling, I'd still be on the bench today. I'd be growing a beard down to the floor and I'm still chilling. What am I chilling about? There's nothing chill about that. We gotta start making that kind of position popular. To do nothing is not popular. It's lazy. It's lazy. And it's full of all the things that we want. Because we just sit like we're in a damn audience, in a movie and watch other people get, while we sit there and get nothing? What is fulfilling about that? No, that's wrong, man. And we need to fix that kind of thing, man. And we need to adjust that. Because once we get a good start and see what there's out there for us, then we get moving, man. Then we get encouraged. And we go from maybe not the best job. For carpentry, it led me to a career that I could sit before you, and I have a couple of pensions, and I have a couple of things put away that I'm able to manage and take care of myself. I don't have to feel like somebody that needs to be taken care of because I can't manage myself. I mean, I've been through some things when I'm younger. Like I said, I've lost good jobs. And sometimes, not always because of them, sometimes because of myself and the changes that I need to make. That's like somebody keep running through, you're late, you're late, you're late. They tell you, listen, we need you here on point. If you need this job, you need to, fix this because I hate to see you lose your job. Then what will we do? Get mad and don't comply, and next thing you know, we're right back where we started from. And what is there to miss about that? It's almost like you left misery to gain the upper hand and in the direction you want, and now you're back to misery again? No, man. We have to fix that. We have to take on our challenges. If we expect life to give us, then we're going to have to start giving life something and start giving meaning to something. And words like self-motivate, man. When we're at that point where we need to make adjustment, man, we got to do it. We got to do it. It's good to have people in your life that see that you're sitting still too long and you're not really aiming, you're not moving, you're not showing any signs of motivation to get up and do the things that you want and have the things that you, because if I can, the best start is once you get started and you see all of the things that come into play. You get a few dollars in your pocket. You start your little bank account. You start putting a couple dollars away. Now you're protecting your money source. No, no, man, this is my job. Monday, our old school used to be, we party Friday, Saturday, Sunday's a rest day, and get prepared for Monday day. When you're grinding and you're hustling, that's the move. Because like I said, man, Monday roll around, man, you ready to go at it. It ain't no sluggish movement and oh, I don't feel up to, you're not feeding the avenues for yourself that you need to. And so you need to make those adjustments, man. And as we get older, there's nobody holding us by our hand anymore. We gotta manage ourselves, man. We gotta start to look at things for what it is, man. Oh, I could do better than that. So let's do it, man. It calls for a little discipline. It's not the end of the world. It ain't like nobody said you gotta stop everything overnight and do this. It's just not practical, and people don't just move like that. We always talk about the importance of a little bit at a time. But when we're in positions that demands action, the sooner actions, the better, then those are the things that we need to get on, man. And I think and after a while it will start showing up in other parts of our lives and other places of our lives. Because when we start gaining control over who we are and what we want and where we want to go, it ups the ante. And then we start looking at bigger and better things. And that's a good excitement, and that's a good part of excitement of life, to look forward to them things, to be encouraged, man. The old saying, they said, show me a man that never worked a day in his life, and I show you a man that loved what he does. It's kind of deep, and I don't mean to be profound about it, but it is profound in itself when you give it a thought, because sometimes you'll find yourself doing stuff that you really, really like. Sometimes you'll find yourself doing stuff that you really don't like. But differences between the two is that I have to do something. I don't quit one thing and don't have another to go to. It doesn't make any sense. So I have to hold on to what I have and look for something better. That makes sense. Imagine you had your own apartment and you needed a little time. Maybe you didn't like your job situation. Things wasn't going right. You wanted to search for another job. Well, then you have to work in the borders of what every now and then you have a day off. You go for an interview. You ain't laying up in some bed talking about you chilling. What's chilling? What is chilling ever fixed? Chilling don't fix a damn thing. And like we just discovered and call it what it is, chilling is lazy. And you sit there lazy, you won't have anything. It's just straight up like that. And life should show us that. And it will teach us that. You don't get up and get for yourself, then you'll sit there until you do. Hopefully you do. Some of us move faster than others, got that. Some of us come along a little later, where Johnny come lately, got that too. If that's what it takes, so be it. The thing is that we don't want to go backwards when we're trying to go forward. We can't bring on things that's harmful to our motivation going this way. That's like, I say this a few times, but it's true. It's like driving, steering at the window shield going forward, but the car's going in reverse. We gotta understand common sense. We gotta understand those things. And we gotta, we have to work from that and work within that reality. And we put those things together, man. If we get out there, man, and we expose ourselves to things, we expose ourselves to people, we expose ourselves to situations. Every now and then, bingo, you jump right at it. You see an opportunity, you're in the right place in the right time, you move on in and it's yours. But you don't get that if you don't get up and get it. Nobody gives us anything after a certain age. After 15, 16, you're lucky. Even kids sometimes probably even 14, 15 and 16. Whether they're packing bags at a supermarket, whether they're whatever they're doing. To do something beats doing nothing. We don't want to, we want things, man. We want things in life. So let me kind of top this off, if you will. Once again, you know me. Once I start a subject, wherever it takes us, that's where we're going to talk. That's where we're going to go. Um, Again, this is a back part of the motivational uh, uh, um, um, excuse me, a video that we seen, or that we made earlier. This is a backdrop to that. It's to stay motivated. Let's get up and get what we want, man. It takes work. Come on, there's no kidding or fooling you. No more than you could fool me. We're above the age of that. We gotta make sacrifices to get some of these things that we want. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves. And then it's a part of our maturity. Like I said, nobody stays the same. You know? We're doers, man. We're conquerors. We ain't people to sit back and do nothing and watch the world just go around between us. And then we make up some nonsense excuse about I wasn't included. So you know, I'm not making fun of that. But what I'm saying is I'm calling that out, man. Because those baby like behaviors, they are no use to us, man. If I'm talking to men, it's upon my expression, but we man up, man. We gotta man up. Ladies, you gotta woman up, if you pardon that expression. Young ones, you gotta young up. But get up and do something. Get up and find something to do. Look for it. It's out there. Make the effort. You will God won't disappoint you. God won't disappoint you. You'll be credited for the effort that you put before yourself. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself an opportunity. Whoever I'm talking to, I'm talking to myself as well. You know, it never stops, because there's always other things we want to accomplish in life. But we have to get up attitude, not sitting there waiting for somebody to do something for us that we could do for ourselves. We used to laugh at a man that had 3 jobs till I realized it was nothing funny about it, because this man did whatever it took to have his finance enough that he could take care of his family. What in the hell do you got to laugh about? Laugh at that. It's just what we're talking about. It's that kind of mindset that we need to lose. I say this in closing. One day I was leaving. I had my 2 daughters with me. We were going somewhere. We stopped at McDonald's, and we was looking at the menu and trying to figure out what we would like to eat. And I heard one of my daughters say to the other one, I could never do that job. I looked in the mirror and I seen her pointing to the young girl that was working at the drive-thru with the little earphones and taking care of people. And my other daughter said to her, what you mean? She said, I will never have my friends laugh at me. I don't know what happened to me, but this just happened, and I'll tell you what happened. And one day maybe she'll watch this video, and I'm not saying this to shame her, but I'm just saying this is who I am and this is who we are. I turned to her and I said to her, oh, like I was forgetful. I said, wow, I didn't think about getting anything out the machine. Do you have any money? I said to her. And she looked at me like, wow, you never asked me for anything. Well, no, I don't. And then I turned to her and I said, check this out. I said, how much you think that little girl there at the window make? She looked at me as if to say, what's going on here? I said, let's take the lighter side. Let's say she makes $100 a week. 100, which we know don't carry what it used to. I said $100 a week. How much is that a month? Well, we said sometimes 4, sometimes 5 weeks. But let's take the lighter part. Let's take the 4 weeks in a month. That's $400 in a month she got available to her to do the things that she needs to do in her life, who's laughing at who? Understand, understand, understand. It's not about laughing about somebody else. It's about you doing for yourself. People do what they need to do. Nobody know all their circumstances, and they don't need to. That's private. That's between them and themselves. But for us, the onlookers, those are valuable lessons to us, man. To say you do what you gotta do. Oh, I wanted the job from 8 to 7, so I told them, nah, I'm gonna keep looking. If you in need, brother, you do whatever they're asking you or need to do to get what it is that you want. How bad do you want it start to become more of a deeper question? Man, like I said, you go right back to where you left. They chilling, ain't doing nothing. Nobody got a desire to help their mother half the time carry packages to the building before they could get to the elevator that ask her, could he have borrowed $10? Borrow sound like you're gonna pay back. How could you pay back when you got nothing? You know, we need to put things in order, man, and do a self-check. That's straight up. We need that, and we should never lose that, because on the side of responsibility, it will never allow you to lose it. Why? Because if you don't do A and B, you don't get C and D, and it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I don't want to hear excuses about, oh, I got to get up early. Do whatever it takes, and do it happily, because you're in a direction. It's not going to stay this way. This is the start. Don't turn down the small package for a big one. Big ones ain't always what it made itself out to be. Sometimes small packages, sometimes you just get enough to get what you need, and you show yourself approved to yourself, you'll increase that. Better things will come, because you're in the place where you need to be. And that's sacrifice. And those disciplines work hand in hand. So beloved, time is running a little short. This is the part I'm a little uncomfortable with. I have to say it. If you're in agreement to some of the things that you're listening, hopefully this could help you angle yourself and change your directions. Hopefully, maybe it would trigger or ignite a thought in you. The goal isn't for you to be like me, obviously, no more than my goal is to be like you. The goal is to be self-motivated, to get up, whatever it takes for us to do it, and do it. And because the sooner we do it, the sooner we're going to see results. And the sooner we see the results, we're going to get up and going, getting in the direction that we want, obtaining some of the things we want, not having to ask anybody, becoming independent, self-sufficient. It's going to lead to a whole different, it's the same life, but under those different circumstances. So let me stop there for now, my family. Once again, hit the subscribe button so we can stay in touch. I hope I could motivate you, because what I want for myself, I want for you. And I'll do my best to try to lead you to what I believe is a good direction. And then I leave it, then after we finish reasoning, I leave it to your thinking, for you to take yourself from that point. Not for me to do it, it's for you to do. We are reminders. I am my brother's keeper. I look over you and you look out for me. I love you, beloved. You're my family, and I care about you. So let's get up on it, all right? And stop with so much chilling. We got work to do, and we got things that we want to accomplish, all right? Let's stick with that. Once again, I thank God for you. I thank God for your listening. Feel free to leave a comment behind. Once again, if I see something, or if you see something that you like me to focus a little more on, even speak on. I don't know everything. We're learning together, but I'm here to share what little I do know. And when I say little, because I don't make myself much, but I do make God much. And what I can't figure out, God brings to this mind of mine. That's how we're rolling here today. So from the Anchor Club, once again, my name is Melvin Jackson. I love you, my family, and I hope to see you soon. Stay in touch and be healthy. Treat yourself good and treat your family good. Have a good day. Peace.